Today we're gonna go over the top 3 mistakes that are preventing you to get up on foil. Let's do it. Woo.
Welcome back, everybody. So good to see your face. Really appreciate you tuning in. We got an exciting one today. I just want to shout out to Gwen, who I appreciate being with, and just stoked to be here with you guys. Let's dive into this one today. It is the 3 most common mistakes, or the biggest mistakes, when you try to get up on foil.
Yeah, and I think why it's even very interesting is because that can apply whether you are a total beginner trying to get up on foil for the first time, or maybe you've already been up on foil but now you are trying to get in lighter wind. So these are like mistakes that you might be doing in lighter wind if you already can get up on foil. So let's dive into it. Number 1 is not having enough speed, which obviously that's how the foil works. The foil is like a plane. If you don't have enough speed, it doesn't fly. So what can cause you to not have enough speed, essentially?
Well, there's a lot of things. No wind.
We see it all the time.
Everybody goes out, it's too light a wind.
And it's appealing because you look at the water and you are thinking the water is nice. It's going to be much easier for me to go as a beginner and learn. And that can be a mistake because basically there's not enough wind. You pull in on your backhand, you have all the power you can get. That is not enough to get up on foil. You don't have enough speed.
And that relates to even when you're learning too. Like, let's just say you have wind. There's still that part of technique that, you know, if you're really struggling and you don't quite have the right technique with your wing, you could be going too far downwind, which if you're going just straight downwind, you feel like you have power, but you're kind of getting towed. So you're only going to have so much power. So there's a lot to that little aspect of speed, but we're going to keep it to, most important thing is you're going to need speed to fly or to lift that foil.
Yeah, and how can we fix that? 2 options. A few options. You go when there's more wind, obviously. You go with a bigger wing. Maybe you just didn't have a big enough wing for the wind you were going in. And then other option, you get a bigger foil, and now that foil doesn't need as much speed to get up. So if you have a foil that's too small, it's gonna require more speed. You might not have that speed. So these are the main thing. Either you get more wind, you get a bigger wing, or you get a bigger foil. Let's move on to number 2, which is having your board pointed upwind when you are trying to get up.
So this one's unique because this is what everybody does. It's kind of what you learn, really, and that is I get on my wing, I get on my board, and you always want a little bit of board tilt because it's comfortable, it feels good, you have a little bit of leverage, because when that board is flat, it's like goes all over the place, right? So a little bit of tension on that board. Also, it helps it go upwind. So what it's doing is it's tracking, which gives you the ability to take your wing and track in a direction. But where we're leading to with this right here is if I'm tracking too much, I'm actually tracking more towards the wind, and I'm only going to go as fast as what power I have or what I can generate. But to actually generate a little more speed, you're going to have to get on that wing and you actually let off that edge, and that board's going to flatten out and get some speed by going a little bit off the wind. And that is like a very big mistake that people make. And even when Gwen and I were speaking about this, about ways to help this scenario, it's kind of hard to explain, but everybody can catch themselves in actually edging too much and really fighting for it, but it's not happening because all you got to do is let it kind of go, let it slide up and get it up and fly.
Yeah, basically you are cruising board on the water, you want to go upwind because otherwise you're always going to have to walk back upwind when you are done. So you are going upwind, you wait for that gust. When you feel the gust, that's when you slowly crack off downwind to pick up more speed. That's gonna allow you to get up on foil. Now you wanna get back upwind. You don't wanna keep going downwind. So the downwind part is only for the takeoff. You are upwind, waiting for that gust. You feel the gust, you crack off downwind, you pick up speed, you get up, you go back upwind, or at least 90 degrees to the wind. So yeah, that is a common mistake. If you are going upwind, you kind of like you are working against, the wind wants to push you this direction. If you want to try to go against the wind, you can't get maximum speed. At least you need to get up on foil first before you try to go faster upwind. So
another point, not to interrupt, but another point that's really helpful for everybody on this note right here that just nails it is, don't be afraid to, when you're feeling good, you feel the puff and you start to go. A common mistake all the time is they pump. The gust ends, nothing's happening, they just keep going. Be patient, start again. Don't be afraid to crack right into the wind again. Be patient, start again. That's super important when you're first learning, because you catch yourself a lot overdoing it to where you can't even move. You're so tired, you can't even ride and you can't get up. So really be patient. Don't be afraid to try 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't happen, stop. Get back into the wind, wait for that puff again. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're gonna dive right into the third most important thing that is the biggest mistake is
cranking on your back foot. And you might have a feeling, okay, how the foil works, if I angle it up, it's gonna go up.
It does.
And it does. It's just, think about it like biking uphill. If you crank on that back foot, you are literally creating a hill that's so steep that's gonna require so much power. Sure, if you are insanely overpowered, that won't be a problem. You're gonna get up. What's gonna happen is you're gonna get up and bridge or go in the space or something, but you don't want to crank that much. So exactly like the how you think about it with the bike and the hill, you want to create a small hill so that your foil gets up very gradual. So if you crank on that back foot, then what's gonna happen is it's kind of like stalling.
Yep.
Too slow of a speed for that angle of attack, your foil either won't get up or it's gonna get up, it's gonna be very unstable and it's gonna stall and you're gonna fall. So what I always think about is trying to keep the board flat. I think about, skipping, like a rock skipping. Yep. I want the board to do that. So I'm gonna pick up speed. My foil is gonna start lifting, but it's almost like I'm doing a few touch and go before I fully get up. If it's going up straight, you're gonna easier stall, you're gonna bridge. Not a good situation.
And it's like stalling on an airplane, right? If I crank on that back foot, the foil comes up and it's hitting high angles of attack, so it's gonna stall. You're less likely to ride out of that when you're first learning than Gwen's way, or the way that we'd highly recommend to try. And reality is, I actually feel like when I'm first starting and the easiest way to get up on the foil, there's actually a little bit of pressure on my front foot, because I'm actually trying to scoot that board like the skip that he's saying. I'm trying to scoot it, everything real flat. And then when I feel just a tiny touch and go, I can adjust shifting my weight just very minimal to get it. Like I don't want the board to go like this. I want the board to just kind of lift up, and I can micromanage it just like this. And that's the most efficient, the easiest way to not have those crazy moments where you get ripped over the front, or you go backwards, or you're uncomfortable and you can't figure it out. Just take it slow. Try not to hammer on that back foot. That's a common mistake, because everybody thinks back foot, fly. Technically yes, but not the most ideal way.
Yeah, and we always say it, foiling is very sensitive. So
just like Gwen.
So you mentioned it. It's not gonna be cranking on the back foot, cranking on the front foot. It's literally gonna be the hip moving side to side. Like a tiny movement that you can barely see it to the eye. That's why when you look at somebody riding, you don't see their hip moving forward and back, but it is constantly adjusting. So to get up on foil, you don't need to crank on that back foot, which is actually a common mistake for people coming from windsurfing, because you kind of sit back with windsurfing. You don't want to do that with foiling. The other thing is that's hard at the beginning is you have to be able to differentiate heel pressure to keep an edge from back foot pressure. When you ride, it's kind of more slightly front foot pressure, but still heel pressure to have that edge. And often we associate, heel and back foot, and that is a mistake. It needs to be, yes, heel to keep your edge, so you are not just going flat downwind. So you want to be, you know, kind of like leaning back against that power that you have in your wing, but you don't want to crank on that back foot because that's not going to work with the foil.
Yeah, really good point. I mean, you know, hopefully some of these tips will kind of guide you in an easier way to getting up on the foil. You know, a couple little key points that, you know, are helpful. The longer the mast, you know, the further down it is, there's more drag for it to come up. Shorter the mast is going to help that lifting be higher up, higher where the energy is. Can't help, but it also hurts with breaching because you got to stay in a little minimal room. But these are just some points to kind of give a general take on it. But most importantly, what we're trying to kind of get at is it's like flying an airplane. You know, if an airplane takes off and you go too vertical, you're going to stall. It's the same thing with your foil. So we need speed. So when you go out on the water, think, I want to get efficient. I want to get my speed up along the water. I don't need to foil. I just want to get my speed up, my board up, my wing, everything in motion. And then I can maybe let it touch and go, and I'm up very easily versus this incredible takeoff, stall, plummet, start again.
Yeah, yeah. So we hope that this was helpful for you guys. We have tons of videos. If you are getting into the sport, this is our passion. We love to share. We want to get you on the water because we know this sport is like so amazing. It changed our life, and we want you to experience that. So on that note, we are going to leave you, like we always do, with the master of the positive message. Damien, what are we going to leave?
I don't know about that one. He just threw it on me. But here's the one I want to cover today. I think it's super important, and we always forget it. And I recently have been kind of whacked, like slapped sideways with it because we lost somebody very special. But, you know, your last words, your last conversations, your last email, your last anything you do, text. I don't care if it's somebody you don't even know who it is. You got to make sure you leave that on a positive. Do not leave that on a negative. And I'm not saying I left anything on a negative. I'm just saying it's a reminder because you don't know that situation of if I see Gwen in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and wouldn't it be horrible if I said, hey Gwen, you know, you looked funny or something, and I never saw him again. You know, you would struggle with that, right? So super important to just always remember that your actions, your voice, even though it may seem so nothing at the time, could be so powerful down the road. So I just want to leave you on that note.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Don't say anything funny or that you look funny, and just keep that for you, and then say you look good.
There it is. That's it. Done. So you all look good. We hope to see you on the water. Thank you so much for this, and we hope this helped you. Like and subscribe. We're gonna see you next time. We got a ton more coming. Thank you. You look good, man. All right, taking the new 8 meter vision for a cruise in light wind. Woo. We are up. Let's see what this thing can do. 360. Woo. Nice. Made it. See if we can do a tack. Woo. Oh yeah. This thing is nice. Session saver in Florida. We definitely need it. You. Let's see if we can go and even ride. Oh, look at that. This wing works in any direction. Oh. Yeah, that's it. Love it. Now I'm stuck. No wind.